It's time to get clear, get heard, and get paid. And join us on our Soul Business Retreat. Attract your dream clients and income over 3 nights as we shape your passion into a business that makes a profit. Follow our 13 steps to reach 5K in 30 days in the beautiful Byron Bay. Whether you're starting, growing, or expanding your business, our all-inclusive 3-night retreat is the place for you. Check out the details in the show notes, and we hope to see you soon. Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Hey everyone, it's Catherine from Willow Healing, and today I'm here with Meridee Lockoff. And Meridee is a dedicated single mum of 2 who has built 2 thriving businesses from the ground up with resilience and determination. With limited support from her family or her children's father, she grew LaserQuit, a company with multiple locations dedicated to liberating lives from addictions through cold laser therapy. Her passion for helping people overcome addictions is second to none, and her mission is to transform how addiction is addressed globally, working toward a world free of addiction. Alongside this, she established a top-rated bookkeeping company, employing a team of 7. Meridee's journey reflects her deep commitment to her children, her clients, and her vision to positive change and financial independence. And welcome to the show, Meridee. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Catherine, for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
And what an inspiring journey. And I fully understand the power of needing to create a business that works with you and your family, especially when you're a single. I'm not a single mum, but I can imagine how much harder it is. I'm very blessed to have a very supportive partner. But the amount of people I've met who are single mums and who I work with, I fully resonate. Well done, Meridee.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It definitely had its challenges raising my kids with, like, their dad didn't live in the same town. My family doesn't live in the same town. Like, my family is like 4 hours one direction and 7 or 8 hours another. So it was definitely, I definitely had my challenges. But when you don't have any other choice, you just figure it out.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I mean, even that story is the story of my entire life. When you don't have any other choices, you figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. Both of my businesses gave me the freedom, though, to be able to raise my kids and spend quality time with my kids. I've had my bookkeeping company since 2005, and it's been fantastic. But in the midst of it, like, bookkeepers, you're kind of like, yeah, I need you. And yeah, sure. Sometimes some of my clients are like, oh my God, I couldn't live without you. Other clients are like, yeah, maybe there's someone cheaper. So there's always just like this, like, yeah, I appreciate you, but I could find someone else to replace you. And I was like, I want something that's more than this. And then I started looking, and I almost ended up in those healthy vending machines. I almost ended up in that. And then something was like, this is not for you. I know.
No,
I swear
so
everyone has almost ended up there.
No, it's so funny because my husband and I actually fully scaled this out and we want to do it, but there was this hesitance. And anyway, but I was going to call it mindful vending. Anyway, this is a whole other story, but that's just so funny, that coincidence.
Isn't it interesting? I swear all of us women, especially entrepreneurs, have ended up in this place of like, we want something more. How can I contribute? And, contributing healthy snacks. I mean, as much, if that's all I can contribute, then awesome.
Yes.
But then it's just something the same as you. Like, there was just something that was like, this though isn't for you, Meridee. Like, I could come up with cash. It was a more portable business to do. Like, there was just all these things that like aligned so well with it that I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. Because like bookkeeping, I could do while the kids are at school, but I was broke. So I'd come home, deal with the kids, put them to bed. I'd be back to work, not at the office, but I'd be back to work. So I was working all the time. And then I found LaserQuit, and it was a total accident. Like, I was quitting smoking and I was desperate. I begged people, how can I quit smoking? Nothing's working. I've tried the pill. I've tried the patch. I've tried the gum. I am failing at this, and I don't like feeling like a failure. What do I do? And someone commented on my Facebook, you need to try cold laser therapy. And I was like, I don't even know what that is, but give me her number because I'm going for it. And I didn't even ask like how much. It didn't matter to me because I'm one of those people who also I'm really logical and I really think things through. So whatever I spend to quit, I'm going to save every month after that, even if I fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even if I fail at this, it's going to decrease over the next couple months while I'm doing the job of whatever it is. And then I had I had this cold laser treatment and I drove home and forgot to smoke. It was the most amazing, magical experience of my life. And I stayed quit for 5 years. I didn't even think twice.
Yeah.
That being said, I am not an average person in anything in my life. I'm an overachiever. 85%, a lot of people are like, oh, if I got 85%, I'd be so happy and content right about there. That's like saying I want $10,000 making 8,500 and being like, but I did it. I killed it. But for me, we need to exceed the 10,000 that I set. So 10,000 is set at like this lower rate so that I know I can at least hit it and then exceed it. 85% success rates, which is the average of what laser has, wasn't good enough for me.
Yeah.
And the 85% success rates come from the fact that people come in, have one treatment, and walk away. And some of us, like I did, walked away for 5 years. Others walk away and start smoking again. So we don't just help people with smoking, though. We help people with any addiction you can think of. We help people with porn addiction, gambling addiction, shopping addiction, smoking, alcohol, drugs. Like you name it, we can help them. And I know your people are probably listening, going like, well, what the hell is she even talking about?
Yes, that
So
was my
let me
question.
break down the cold laser and what it really does. So cold laser therapy itself is LED light combined with low level radiation. And I'm sure you've heard about, like LED light and the red light therapy and how it's like this big trend right now and it's really blown up and everyone's doing it because it's so good for your body. Well, it is. It's not new. It's been around for 50 plus years. It's just now finally getting recognized for its natural, holistic benefits. So it seems like this whole process of holistic is really growing in today's world, and ours is that LED light combined with the low level radiation, and the low level radiation is not harmful. It won't do anything to you. What it does is it actually stimulates your meridians or the energy fields in your body to move faster. And I always tell people we're just the instructors telling your body what we want to hear it or see it do,
Yeah.
what we want the outcome to be.
Yeah. You're shifting the
So,
frequencies. Yeah.
pardon?
You're shifting the frequencies.
Yes, and changing their energy. So their energies have been blocked by whatever it is that they're doing, and we're now releasing those blocks and allowing your body to heal itself, essentially. So we're just the instructors that tell it what to do. And we have incredible success rates, but not with the industry standard treatments. So our industry standard says 85% success, but then my question became, well, how long is that success then? Because they say, well, we have 99%, between 85 and 96% success rates. And I'm like, where do you guys get all your numbers from? Because I don't even know who's quitting and who's not. So I started experimenting on people. So I spent the first 5 years of me running this business experimenting different lasers, different sequencing, different timing, different everything, different, you name it. And I was like, I'm going to see if I can do it different. And I was looking for a specific outcome of better than 85%, which even for anything that we do, if you look at the pills, the patches, the gums, they're all 17 to 21%. Cold turkey is less than a percent. So 85% is exceptional.
Yeah.
But when I started to really dig into it, 85% is around 3 months.
Yeah.
By 6 months, that has dropped drastically.
Mm.
And then by 9 months, it's dropped even more drastically. So I have created a program that has 95% success rates when it is followed at 1 year.
Yeah. Perfect.
So at 1 year, even after 3 months, it's up to you whether you're going to start again. But at 1 year, we've really given you a chance to like recover. So the reason that I started doing this is because I found out that addictions, especially heavier addictions, because I've been studying addictions for 13 years, because they're all the same. They all just have different chemical makeups. And for someone who drinks a lot or does a lot of drugs and has done so for, say, a year, even 6 months, it takes your brain 14 to 18 months to recover and go back to a normal endorphin level.
Mm.
And we're putting people, into rehabs, detoxing them, which will then put their endorphin levels at almost the lowest that they're capable of, slightly above absolute worst detox. And these people are not staying successful or staying clean more than, say, 3 months.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because it's taking their brains so long to recover normally. But LaserQuit goes in and actually tricks your brain into thinking it's got the fix so that it recovers your endorphins naturally, almost immediately, but processing over the next 6 to 8 weeks. So you're going to just see immediately you feel better, and then you start to just feel better and better and better. And as we continue to treat you and do the things that we do that makes us different, that's where we see this long-term success of people staying quit. Because if we trick your brain into getting you to where the end result ultimately is 18 months later, but on that first day, you're actually more likely to stay quit. I don't know if you've ever been depressed, but dealing with anything from a place of
Mhm.
depression means that everything is way more difficult. It is way more depressing. It hurts way more than it should. Like everything is just worse
Yeah.
when serotonin is not flowing properly through your brain.
Yeah.
And now with what we're doing, we're releasing all these endorphins that regulate that feeling so that you shouldn't have even detox symptoms for most of our clients. So most of our clients will not notice, that a lot of them, no puking, no heavy detox symptoms.
Yeah.
Now that being said, it really depends on the person's body and how your body's responding. Some people are going to go through that heavy detox regardless. Most people in our systems do not.
Yeah.
So I'd say less than 10% of the clients that come through um, with the heavy addictions are struggling even and are able to start recovering immediately. We have incredible success with our clients. And so they have their first treatment and then they come and have a second treatment. And that second treatment really boosts what they need. We do that at a specific time as well because of what we've been looking at for how the science behind this works. I'm also working with a scientist who designed a brain scanner helmet, essentially. And I'm working on getting that to Canada so that we can actually do the science before and after. And the reason for that is because if I wanted to do an MRI or a CAT scan before and after each treatment of someone, I'm looking at $2,000
Well, not just that,
for
but
one person.
yeah, but not just that, but then
Like
it's
for
all
one
the
person before and after. So that's eight CAT scans I have to do for one person. Now I need to do that for multiple people to be able to see the change in their brain, and I can't
mm,
because I don't have that kind of money. So I'm working with this brain scanner so we can really prove that what we're saying works. And I mean, our clients, we have all these testimonials, we have proven, that we can do it and we can help people get sober and keep them sober. And then we just do our process. So I don't like to give too much of the process away because that's our
that's
trade
yours.
secret. It's what makes us different from everyone else. But our success is also what's making us different from everyone else.
Yeah, and I guess to Meridee, that's where, even when you're saying the CAT scan, the brain scan, and everything, who wants to be exposed by that much magnets and everything and radiation before you even try and go on this, journey into taking yourself off the addiction? My question is that I feel to ask, do you find that it can also support people with emotional addictions? So when I say emotional addictions, it's those people who, for example, are addicted to the highs and lows of toxic relationships and the you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do. So I don't want to say no
Mm.
because the way that our treatments work are so incredibly magical that I want to say if the person was looking for more than just that, that would be a side effect of a treatment that we were giving them. Um, that being said, like what we offer is treatments, but we also offer coaching support,
Yeah.
and that helps you understand in the moment what's driving you to that behavior so we can change that behavior. So, I mean, if someone were to come in here and come have a treatment with us and they actually buy the package that has the coaching in it, they would actually see some really incredible results with the coaching supporting the
Yeah.
behavior. And the reason for that is because if we don't deal with like the addiction itself isn't the problem.
No,
In
it's
fact,
the
the
emotional
addiction
cause.
is their solution.
Yeah.
So the problem is I don't want to feel all of the trauma and feelings I had from before, so I'm going to cover that up with drugs, alcohol, etc. So when we start really digging into it and we get people, sober, and then they're like, "Oh, I'll be fine." Well, if you don't do the work around why you started using in the first place, you're going to end up right back where you started.
Hmm.
So we have to coach our clients, or we tell our clients, you also need to go get coaching or counseling because If you don't deal with the reason you started, you're going to end up right back where you started, no matter how many treatments you get, no matter what happens. If you do not find new coping mechanisms, you will never be better.
Thank you for saying that because it is so true. And I actually have this book called, this book changed my life. It's called Metaphysical Anatomy by Vet Rose.
Hmm.
And you can look up any addiction in it and it will have the underlying emotional cause that drove you to being there.
Yes.
And even a lot of clients who I work with for coaching and healing work, they'll come in and they're like, I've got this addiction. And I'm like, well, what are you numbing? Because that's the biggest question. It's like, well, you're
Yeah.
actually using it to escape from something. You're using it to
Yes.
to hide from something, and even through me being coached, it's like we ask why. Like, why am I doom scrolling? What am I avoiding through doom scrolling? Because that can be an addiction in itself, right? Like a low, but
Hmm.
it is. People will sit there on their phones, but looking at nothing, and it's like, what are you
Oh, yeah.
avoiding? Yeah. So I love that you
And
actually
I mean,
talk about
avoiding,
that.
it can be avoiding something as simple as
The washing up.
boredom.
Oh, boredom. Yeah.
The reason that boredom has become such a problem for you is because of other things. So we've conditioned ourselves. Like they say that our attention span, and they say this, the reason I know this is because when you're trying to create reels or content for your business,
Hmm.
you need to catch their attention in 3 seconds.
It's even lower than
Our
that now.
attention span has gotten so short,
Yeah.
and we have conditioned ourselves into this. So like there's addiction, there's habit, and there's behaviors we've chosen.
Mm,
And
mm,
our habit really comes down to behaviors you're doing without thinking. That's what a habit is. It means that you have got it in there so much that you just do it without thinking. So, if you're a smoker and you smoke inside, for example, which I'm going to say a long, long time ago I did, I would be sitting. I remember, I remember we smoked in my office in, I think it was like 2006, which is just mind blowing to me. But we did. We smoked at our desks, and I remember I would like light a cigarette because I'm quick but right-handed. I'd have my cigarette in an ashtray right there, and it would be a quick puff and then punch more numbers and then a quick puff. And like the fact that I smoked at my desk was so hard to break. And now I work from home. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I barely drink coffee. Right now, you can see I'm drinking, but I'm drinking tea.
yeah.
um, I don't drink energy drinks. I don't drink a lot of pop. I drink sugar free when I do drink pop. That type of thing. So like I've really looked at the things in my life that work and the things that don't, and I've adjusted.
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of people don't realize, it takes 21 days to create a habit. So I'm just like, if you can get through the first 3 weeks, and, just pick one thing to focus on. And this is about creating good habits in your life, right? So if you can
Yeah.
pick one thing to focus on and then just do that for 7 days and then add another one, then it doesn't seem as bad, and if you can crack that 3 weeks, then it just becomes natural. And if you don't do it, you don't do the good habit, it actually feels like part of you's missing because you've created this new mindset for yourself. So it's easy to
Yes.
understand how we can get sucked into those bad habits. Even I quit social media for ages and I went back on for my business, and I found myself like getting sucked back into that doom scrolling, and I'm like, nah, pull myself back out. Like, you have to catch yourself because it is easy, like you said, to get addicted. And
Conscious.
yeah, and the
Yes.
boredom, and it's
So, and that for me is exactly it. I had to become a conscious
yes,
social media user. So,
yes,
try this if you guys want to try something just to see, because a lot of people will tell me I'm not addicted to social media. Okay, well, I have two things for you to do to just for a test. One, if you're sitting here questioning it or feeling anxious at all about the fact that I'm challenging you to do this social media, whatever you want to call it, 30 days without social media, if that gives you anxiety, it means you need to have a look.
yeah.
You need to have a look at why. So for me, I moved the app and I
Mhm,
turned off the notifications.
mhm.
Okay. Those two things completely changed the way I used my social media. Now, the funny part was when I moved it, suddenly I'm in this weird app and I'd be staring at my phone like, well, why am I in here? And I'd be like, oh, yeah,
Yep, yep.
because this is where my Facebook used to be. Because at first I was like, I don't understand why I'm in this app. And I'd get out of the app and then I'd look and I could see this is exactly where my Facebook used to be. So I only use social media for the most part for business reasons because I COVID just made it so that everyone is this big keyboard warrior, but they would never say the things to your face. And I'm not that person. If I'm going to say it on social, you better believe I'd say it to your face.
Agreed.
So I had to stop using it. I couldn't because I was
Mhm.
getting so angry at the way that people respond and the way that people are treating you. And what gives you the right to treat anyone like that?
Mhm.
Like, this isn't about me. This just shows how broken you are. But just because I can see that it's not about me and this is about you doesn't mean it doesn't impact me or affect me. So I had to literally make some choices. No more social media. The only time I go on social media is when I'm thinking about it. So I actually have to seek it out on my phone to go in and check my notifications. Facebook, I'll tell you, I probably go in once a day,
Yeah.
maybe twice a day, and on weekends, rarely. Um, Instagram, I probably go on 2, maybe 3 times a day. It really depends because I'm in some engagement
Same.
groups that allow us to engage in each other's stuff. But I don't go on there unless I have a reason. So with no notifications, I have no reason to go check those. With that moved, if I end up going to check them, I'm in a place where my apps aren't even anymore. And until I'm totally aware of when I'm doing this, I'm in an addictive state, in a habit, because it's something I do without thinking. It's
Yes.
something I do without consciously putting any effort into it at all. And then it's going to take a very conscious effort to get myself out of that position.
It's so funny you say that because when I got a new phone, because my old phone just seriously it was like iPhone 7 anyway, and so it was really really old, and it was like I can't put anything on here, nothing was working, and I was like, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet anyway. And I got the new phone, and I consciously chose not to put anything on there because I have two phones. I have a work phone and I have a personal phone, and so my personal phone
Yep.
has nothing on there except for the bare basics. Like it has my email and like so I can SMS and call people and some banking things, and that's it. And it was the best thing I did because I'm
Yep.
not addicted to my phone, like. And even on my work phone I put like WhatsApp and Instagram on that, so I've got the separate thing, but I consciously will leave that. And like you said, you get sucked in, and I'm the same as you. Like, I
Hmm.
was like, nope, I'm not doing social media the same way. When I go back on, I'm creating it for me. I'm making sure it works for me, not it controls me. And I think that's the biggest thing
Yeah.
with anything in our life. So even I was addicted to this game, and like I would have to go on every day, and I did what you said, and I moved where it was, and I consciously kept trying to go back to, and I was like, oh no, this is an addiction. I
Well,
need to
and see,
really
this
get
is the
off
thing
it.
is like our this is the thing that people don't realize is our addiction
Mm.
is also our habit. So
Mhm.
we have developed, yes, we have an addiction, but your addiction is developed around the habits that you have put in. So the addiction itself is a physiological withdrawal symptom or whatever when you stop, but our habitual side. That's why when I'm dealing with smokers, for example, they're so habitual in their cigarette, excuse me, that they literally, they have to change their habit because even something as silly, now people who don't smoke don't understand this, but something as silly as getting in your car can be the biggest trigger. And if I don't fulfill the trigger, then I feel empty or like there's an empty space or a void in my life. So getting in my car, most smokers, we get in our car, we put the key in, we start it, we quickly put on our seatbelt, and then we grab a cigarette and we light it, and then we back out or do whatever. We have to consciously, and I have to walk people through this because they'll call me and they'll be like, well, I just got in my car. I'm like, and how did you get in the car? Well, I got in the car the same way I do all the time. Yep. That's why you want to smoke so bad.
Yeah.
Also, are you bored? Because when we're driving,
Yes.
it's so
So
habitual
true.
that driving or that smoking goes with it. So,
Yeah.
you have to change routines right from like the core tiniest little thing to make it so that the rest will work. So when they get in, it's get in, put your keys in your lap, because technically in Canada it's illegal to start your car without your seatbelt on. So you get in your car, you put your keys in your lap, you put your seatbelt on, then you start your car. Well, now there's not that pick a cigarette part
Mm.
up because you've just completely changed something so simple. So we do have to break habits. So a lot of some of my clients will come in, the 15% who struggle will come in and they are struggling. But the reason they're struggling is because they have such strong habits
Yeah.
around it, because our treatment will remove all withdrawal symptoms. So it's really like everything comes down to our core habits. Habits are not easy to break. nor are they easy to develop. So you really need to do the one thing that will change your entire life, which is small, consistent steps in every single thing you do, because that is the only thing that will lead you to any kind of success in anything in your life.
Compounds 100%. 100%. It's like just aim to do 1% each better each day, and it compounds, you know. And
yeah, so I take it you've read Atomic Habits, which is such a great book. If you haven't, it is. If you guys are listening and you're looking to change some habits, he literally teaches you how to develop habits and how to break habits, essentially the exact same way, just the opposite. So if you want to start doing something like, for example, going to the gym, you have to set things up in your life so that that's just the natural next thing. You also do what they call stacking habits. So my next step is I get up in the morning, and if I want the morning to be my gym time, my next step is getting my drinks, like my pre-workout, whatever it is, together and by the door. So now if I go to the door, it's all sitting there already from last night. I just have to grab it and head out the door.
Yeah.
I don't have to go seek it out. I don't have to do all this extra work. It's easily accessible.
Yeah.
So now when you're breaking that habit, he makes you do the opposite. Make it so it's difficult to access.
Yeah.
So don't have cigarettes in your house. Don't have your drug at your house. Make it so you have to put some work in to go do the thing, and that'll help you break the habit around it. So if you guys get a chance, read the book. It's amazing. And then come see us and let us help you get clean on your addiction.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's just, no, it's funny because my coach is like, no, like interest compounds. Like this is what he's taught me. And then like the 21 days kept coming up as a thing. And because I coach my clients, I'm like, no, just pick one thing and focus on that. Because if you go try and do everything, then it's too big too quickly. And it's funny how you were saying too, like, getting stuck in the habitual things, because our brain does this thing called scripting and schemas, where I liken it for people like when you drive somewhere that you drive all the time, you don't remember how you get there unless something unusual happens along the way, because your brain is just, oh, this is the normal routine, this is the normal habit. And it's funny when you were saying as well about driving and smoking, because I was recently doing a 36-hour fast. And I was fine. I was not hungry. I was like quiet in my my body knew it needed it. I was drinking my water, and I got in the car to drive to work, and it's such a boring drive. And I automatically was like, I'm hungry. And I was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but I don't normally eat when I'm driving, but it was just merely like because it put attention on the fact that I hadn't eaten as well. And then all of a sudden
that's that boredom thing.
Yes,
again,
exactly.
If we're not really conscious about what it is, you're going to end up in that place where you're like, okay, well, I want the thing I'm not supposed to have right now.
Yes. So
whatever that is.
That's right. Exactly. So I'm like, just drink water, just drink water, just drink water, put on a podcast, distract.
Yeah. That's funny. I just finished a 60-hour fast.
Well done.
So it was 2 days, but started on Sunday night at 8 p.m. and ended at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. So I went 2 days without eating because my body also needed it.
Yeah.
There was moments that I thought my stomach was eating itself, but also I felt fantastic afterwards. And really, and I really got this like detox out of my system, and it made me feel so good.
Yes, and so much energy, right? I like, for anyone listening who thinks, oh my gosh, that's so long to do a fast. It's really not. And you set yourself up well. Like you said, you started at 8 o'clock. So I did like a late afternoon, like I had something to eat, like a big lunch, dinner kind of thing about 3 p.m. The day before, because I knew like I would just get distracted in the afternoon, and then I would sleep, and then I would wake up. And as long as you're busy, I actually think it's easier because you're doing other things. If you try and do it on a weekend and have nothing to distract you, you're going to
oh my goodness
eat.
Yes. So it's the same as if I try to do it, if I try not to eat in the summer when I'm just chilling in my pool most of the time, because I don't work quite the same hours. I have nothing but time on my hands. So all my friends even said to me, why are you doing a fast right now? Like, you're in the busiest, I'm in peak season with my bookkeeping business, and we're filing taxes. And so people are like, why would you do this to yourself? And I was like, because they have energy pills that I can take, or energy drinks that I can take that will give me the energy I need. And because I'm so distracted, it's going to be harder for me to find food. Not just that, but I'm so busy that like eating takes a lot of time and energy and effort. And not eating actually saved me some time, and I got more done in that day
I know.
than before.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's just like, you're like, oh, actually, I don't need to. And it's funny because my husband always used to have a go at me because when I was really busy at work, I wouldn't eat. And I'd get home at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'd be starving by that point because I hadn't eaten
This
since
is
6
exactly
a.m.
my story.
Yeah. And I'm like, and then subconsciously I'm like, actually, it's not a bad thing. I've just kind of put myself on a fast. It's just how I was looking at it because we've been programmed to believe we should eat at certain times and eat. And I'm such a believer in eating intuitively and actually trusting when your body says, actually, no, we need food or we don't need food, and coming back to that. And I guess that like full loop back to, the clients that you work with. Every person comes in, they'll have a different reason for their addiction, which is why that coaching is so important, because you have to know yourself and what your triggers are, because you can't give a blanket program because everyone has unique experiences.
Exactly. And so that's where it's so different. I've had people come in, like, we prefer if you come in that the day of treatment, not high. We'll get you in as early as we possibly can so that doesn't happen. There will be less detox symptoms that way. But yeah, it essentially comes down to the fact that like we all have these habits surrounding these behaviors that we do. And these behaviors, like if I'm high all the time, I'm not going to be thinking about the things that are going to bother me when I get sober because I'm hiding from those things anyways. So it's a really interesting place to work because, you see these people suffering, they want to get better, but they literally feel like there's no hope left and all the things. So we start coaching them. And it's funny, all the podcasts that I've done as a guest, people will say to me, what's the one thing that you can share with everyone? My one thing is this: never give up hope.
Yeah.
There will always be hope, and you need to give it to yourself.
Yeah.
Stop going into these things thinking it's going to be so hard and that you can't do it, because it is going to be hard, but you absolutely can do it because what you're doing is hard.
Yeah.
We have to realize we need to choose our hard because this world that you live in is difficult. It's going to stay difficult. And in my personal beliefs, I believe that we were put here. This is heaven on earth, if that's what you want, or hell on earth, if that's what you want to call it, because we're here to suffer. We're not here for all the pleasure. We're here to suffer. We're here to experience. We're here to learn. And that then is going to be passed on to the rest. That's generational trauma or generational positivity, I guess, where we get to share what world do you want your kids to go down. And I can tell you, I didn't want them to go down the road that I went down, where I was so sensitive, everything was my fault. You looked at me wrong, it was all about me, because I wasn't conscious, because I didn't realize that when I freak out on someone, it actually is all about me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then not only did I just react, but now I look like an idiot, and all of it was completely unnecessary. And then I start looking at myself and I realize, oh my God, I'm mad at that person because they've triggered something that's inside of me that I don't like about myself.
Yeah.
So now it's like this, okay, now I have work to do. And that's essentially what you need to do when you're doing the addiction. Because if you're not giving up your addiction and really looking at yourself, you're just basically like throwing it up in the air and being like, well, let's see what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you do it.
Yeah.
In anything in your life if you want success.
Yeah, and I love that it's funny because my question I asked everyone at the end, if they could heal or change something in the world. So for you, it'd definitely be hope, I was like, oh, you answered my next question. Yeah. But I guess too, that's where courage comes in, because, you have to have the courage to say enough is enough, and that I'm going to be the change I want to see, and
yes.
And it's funny, my coach talks about accidental courage, where you get backed in a corner and have to fight your way out. Or there is intentional courage, where you can see that you're already heading down there and you choose to stop it and take the courage to change that. So it's like, and courage is something that's learnt. It's not actually like a value. It's something you have to build up as a skill set, and you reward. I guess it's where that dopamine hit comes in, because the more you choose courageous actions for yourself, the more you're more likely to can stay in that mindset where you'll keep choosing yourself rather than falling back into the addiction and numbing.
Now, that being said, it takes a while to get to that place. And there's so much work we personally need to do when we get to that place as well, because everybody has this idea that you'll just get there and it's all just lovely. And I've been doing the work for 15 years. And what I can tell you is I still get chucked under the bus. I still get run over by cars.
Mhm.
I like constantly get punched in the head. You're forever learning.
Correct.
And, you know, the universe will come up and whisper in my ear. And it has done this so many times where it whispers and it's like, Meridee, if you just, and then I'm like, shh, I'm busy and I don't hear it. And the next thing I know, I get punched in the side of the head because I wasn't looking, even though it like dragged my attention over here and was like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I kept looking where I was going. And then all of a sudden I'm like stumbling through life because I didn't listen,
Mm-hmm.
because it always shows you what you need. However, if I'm sitting in a place of pleasure, it's going to take a lot of pain for me to move out of this place.
Correct.
And that's the thing that a lot of these people, like, they're already at rock bottom. It can't get much worse than this. So why change is like what the attitude becomes. And I mean, a lot of the people I work with, we're talking like high level CEOs, COOs, presidents, vice presidents of big companies that, you know, their life is incredibly stressful. Even entrepreneurs like you or I, we have a lot going on. We have families, we have businesses, we have our own self improvement, we have homes, we have all these things that we need to take care of. So one of our escapes is often, you know, oh, well, I just drank this one weekend. But if you drink on Saturday, you're not recovered until the following Sundays. But if you drink every Saturday, you're never letting your brain recover because it takes 8 days to recover. That's your escape. Before you know it, your tolerance gets higher, and now you need to drink more often and more of it.
Mm.
Whether this is cocaine, heroin, alcohol, it doesn't matter what it is, cigarettes, all the things, all the same.
Yeah.
So, what are you running from and what are you running to are the two questions that I would ask people and that I often ask people. So, you want to work with me? Well, what are you running from?
Mm.
And what are you running to get away from that? Because those two things are going to be the things that we have to change. And the other part that makes us different too is it's in, excuse me, it's in the moment.
Yeah.
So you and I can be like, okay, starting tomorrow, I'm going to eat different. I am going to, you know, I'm going to be on a diet, yada, yada. I'm going to drink more water, all the things. And then tomorrow comes and it's easier just for me to maintain my routine than it is for me to change it. But if in the moment you had somebody you could be like, I don't want to change it today, and someone was like, hey, if you change it today, there's going to be all these amazing changes that are going to happen for you. You just need to stick to it. And the universe is doing that in the most gentle, quietest, whispering way that you're not hearing.
Yeah.
And that's why in the moment you can, with our program, you text me or call me and I'm going to give you new coping mechanisms. We're going to find out what it is that happened in that moment. And then we're going to teach you a new way to change it. Because in the moment is when change happens, not yesterday when I decided that today I was changing. It happens right now when things get really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I stay committed. That's when change happens.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's where, you know, if you can get yourself into new routines, new habits, new, you know, all those things, that's where it pays off long term. And where we were talking about that interest keeps compounding. So,
yes.
Yeah, definitely resonate with so much of what you're saying. So if people want to find you, Meridee, where can they find you? Where can they?
So you guys can find me on the internet, LaserQuitTherapy.ca, and laser is LASER, guys.
Yeah.
And it's, you can get me also at LaserQuit.net because that'll move you over to the other one. You can call, text, or WhatsApp 250-571-9879. And on our website, you can email me and do all the things. So definitely get to our website if you want to find me on social media. Sober Coach Mare is my personal Instagram handle. And then there's also laserquit.therapy. So feel free to reach out to any of these. We are looking for partners. So we're looking for licensing partners. And what we do then is we train you how to offer our services inside a business that you already have. And you can then offer our services to your clients. And then we just take a commission off of that.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone out there that's really interested in, you know, perhaps doing what we do, there is an opportunity to do so.
Beautiful. Awesome. And I'll make sure I put all those details in the show notes for anyone that's driving and missed all of that. I can't write it down. So, So thank you so much for being on the show, Meridee, and
Thank you, my dear.
thank you for the work that you're doing and for being so persistent to find out the gap at the 85%, because that is truly, like you said, what makes the difference and helps people quit and feel like they can stay in that place that they've got themselves to.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much for having me, and I hope you guys all have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.